Okay, so I wanted to make a video to show anybody that might be thinking about installing a tankless water heater, just what all is involved in the process. So uh, what I'm actually working on now is the venting, and you could make this a little bit easier, but we actually removed the Y that used to pick up the furnace, put on a reducer fitting, and then ran a direct vent straight from the furnace to the flue. Again, that's something that you could just put a plug in there to make that a little bit easier. One of our first steps in this whole process was to just drain down the existing water heater. That's something that usually takes about 45 minutes to do. So one of the things that you'll kind of look at first is where to locate your tankless water heater. We're going to be installing this on the wall just to the left of the furnace. And one of the reasons for that is because there was an outlet nearby. It was going to be easy to get the gas line over there. And then also we need to run an intake and exhaust to the outside of the house. So now I'm actually installing a couple pieces of plywood, and that's because there was some wiring that had been run along the outside of the wall. And so again, you don't necessarily have to use plywood. We just do that because it looks a little bit nicer. That's just a 3/4 inch piece of OSB that we primed and painted before the installation. What you won't see in this video is all of the prep work that goes into this, and that's just a lot of really specific materials. There's a lot of specific tools that we need just for this job, and there really is a considerable amount of planning and preparation that would arguably be a little bit easier to do if it's your own home, and also if you're not under the gun, meaning if your current water heater is still working. Now you'll see that my other plumber over there is working on the water lines. He actually spent about 3 hours running these water lines over about 10 feet. I still don't know how he took quite so long to do that, but that was something that the main thing that he was working on over there was to install a new angle stop so that the humidifier, which is connected to the furnace, would also continue to work. So he was putting in a new valve, and then there was a water line that ran over right above the tankless water heater, but it had been reduced to only 1/2 inch in diameter. And so the reason that Cooper, my plumber over there, was running new water lines is because we wanted to make sure there was 3/4 inch coming in and going out of the tankless water heater so it wouldn't impact flow. And then over by the tankless water heater, you'll see that I'm working on a condensate neutralizer. So a condensate neutralizer is primarily when you're working in older homes that may have cast iron drain lines. And so they make these for about $100, and it just neutralizes the pH. This is actually only a 20-year-old house with PVC drain lines, so we probably could have gotten away without installing that, but we wanted to go ahead and put it on, and there's also a bypass for that as well. So now the venting is probably one of the most important parts. Most units will have an intake and an exhaust, and in a lot of cases you can run the intake from the basement itself, and it doesn't necessarily have to be piped to the outside. However, there are some advantages to doing it. This house had an issue with negative pressure, meaning that there was already more air being pulled from the basement than was supplied. So we went ahead and ran both units out. We also ran copper coming out of the unit. We solid piped the gas line, put in a full port ball valve. Make sure to use solid core PVC on all the venting, and then we did hard pipe the entire gas line.